Now we are moving on to the third session, Shankara in Textual and Oral Tradition. May I now invite, with due respect, Acharya Dr. Anandaraj ji, Assistant Professor, Department of Sanskrit, NSS College, Pandalam, to present his paper titled Rethinking the Śaṅkara Lineage through Padmapāda-Carita and the Kerala Mīmāṃsā Vedānta tradition. Acharya Dr. Anandaraj is a Sanskrit scholar, Vedic Acharya, writer and academician associated with higher education in Kerala, trained in both traditional Shastra Gurukula lineage and modern university systems, specialized in Vedic studies, Vedangas, Darshanas, Itihasa Purana traditions, manuscriptology and Indian knowledge systems. Actively engaged in curriculum design, research guidance and national level academic collaborations. Contributed to several faculty development programs, interdisciplinary IKS initiatives and research workshops at state and national levels. Author of more than 5 books and over 10 research articles and scholarly periodical writings in Sanskrit, English and Malayalam. Recipient of various academic recognition and honors at institutional, state and national levels. Associated with academic bodies, curriculum committees and collaborative research initiatives. His academic and intellectual work is dedicated to bridging the traditional Gurukula heritage with contemporary academic scholarship and global intellectual discourse. I once again invite sir to present his paper. Over to you, sir.
Good afternoon. We are running late by 1 hour, I think. And the time is getting sunset also. I am just giving a capsule of what is in my paper, which is about 30 pages, more than 30 pages. There is no time, page limit given by Murali sir. Namaste to all. Gathered here to rediscover and disclose the true lineage of Adi Sankara. A paper rethinking the Śaṅkara lineage through Padmapāda-Carita and the Kerala Mīmāṃsā Vedānta tradition. Surely it is a continuation from what Dr. C.M. Neelanand sir has presented. This is the first page, an excerpt from the first page. Shodachi or Shodasha Adhyayi Tippanam, Keraliyam. Marked in that, Keraliyam. In that, salutation to the real lineage. Jaimini Badarayana Saraswati Shankaracharya Nama. Salutation to Jaimini Badarayana Saraswati and Shankaracharya. It means the invocation as per the undivided law. Avibhakta Parambara. Jaimini Badarayana Saraswati Shankaracharya Nama. This is the invocation method present in the Keraliyam mode of Tippanis. Avibhakta, just this points towards the Avibhakta Parambara, which is continued as Kerala tradition. Vibhakta Parambara, Purva Mīmāṃsā, Uttara Mīmāṃsā, etc. And also the text, Idi Dvadasa Adhyayasya Chaturtha Bhada. That means the Purva Mīmāṃsā in concluding, and just without any gap, as the next chapter, the Vedanta is starting, Atha Sri Shariraga Mīmāṃsāyam Pradhamadhyayasya Padmapāda iti. And interestingly, just it points the main feature of Kerala school, Kerala lineage. Iti manana nididhyasanabhyam bhala upakarya angabhyam saha shravana angina. That means the main thing is shravana. According to Shravana Nididhyasanadi, Shravana is main according to our tradition. That means in Kuvalayamala, the text, the Prakrit text belongs to 7th century, 7th or 8th century. Describing the Mahamatha at Kandalur Sala or Anantapuri, Vijayapuri, Thiruvananthapuram. Tatraiva Punar Anya. I have translated into Sanskrit the Prakrit portion. Aneke Dwara Vritta Kevala Veda Patha Moola Buddhi Vistara Chhatra. Significantly, the pattern, it is just, not just merely historical. Even today, Kerala's Brahmaswam institutions preserve this mode of studying Vedas, where students undergo prolonged Vedic training independent of philosophical specialization. Importance to Shravana. Kevala Veda Patha Moola Buddhi Vistara Chhatra. That the continuity of this practice strengthens the claim that the Vivarana emphasis, the Vivarana school is belong to Kerala tradition. It is a core of, central part of Kerala lineage, Kerala Advaita lineage, rather than a later theoretical preference. That is the thing. Moola Veda Patha reflects a lived Kerala Sabha Matha culture. Even now it is continuing. This paper proposes a critical remapping of Shankara's Advaita lineage. The main argument, the lineage of Sri Shankaracharya has been improperly reconstructed through later, especially northern hagiographies. No historiography, no manuscriptology, and no archaeology. Just based on hagiographies. From the main centers, Kashi, etc. Thus, a critical remapping is needed. By focusing on the Padmapāda-Vivarana tradition, which is a salient feature of the Kerala tradition of Vedānta, which is preserved, which has been preserved and institutionalized within Kerala's unique Advaita Mīmāṃsā culture. Here, we should aim to re-examine Shankara's lineage beyond hagiographies, this Shankara Vijayam, etc., and foreground Padmapāda-Vivarana tradition from the Kerala lore and position Kerala as a central Advaita seat, the seat of Advaita, central seat of Advaita. Here my key thesis. Kerala represents a structurally central zone of Advaita transmission, not only as a birthplace of Shankara, reserving the Padmapāda-Vivarana lineage through the Matha system, continuous Matha system, as the manuscripts prove. Through institutions, texts, and thus a living sampradaya. Here, many scholars like Dr. S. Radhakrishnan maintain these are only individualities. Here the Prasthana Bheda is there. I am projecting the Vivarana tradition. It is not a mere individuality performed by Padmapada or Sarvajñātmayati. That these models are not stylistic choices. but distinct explanatory standpoints, each with serious consequence as per tradition, to gain true tradition, to regain true tradition. Vajaspader abacheta abhaso vartikasya cha sankshepa shariraka pratibimbam iha ishyate. That means sankshepa shariraka of sarvajnatmayati belongs to the pratibimba vivarana system of Padmapāda Sampradaya. Avachedavada is there. I am not going into details. The limitation theory in Mandana and Vajaspati line, Bhamadi, which is called Bhamadi line. Abhasavada, the appearance theory in Sureshwara's line. Later, the Abhasavada is merged with the Pratibimbavada. Pratibimbavada, the reflection theory, as per Padmapāda Vivarana tradition. A careful discrimination of these Vadas marks the Kerala tradition as one that preserves the core Shankara Padmapāda vision without dilution or compromise. This is what is represented in the Pratibimbavada. It preserves non-duality without dissolving experience. And Kerala's, what is Kerala's Advaita position? Loyalty to Pratibimbavada. Among the three main Vadas, Kerala lineage is loyal to Pratibimbavada and rejection of the Bhamadi line. Vajaspadistu Mandana Prishta Sevi. And dedication to Krishna Shankara Padmapāda Sat Sampradaya. That is the main thing to focus here. This is Sarvajnatman's verdict. In Samkshepa Chariragam, second chapter, 174, fourth verse, Jivan Mukti Gato Yadaha Bhagavan Sat Sampradaya Prabhu Jivajnana Vachastadi Drigujitam Purvaparalochanad Anyatrapi Tatha Bahusruta Vachah Purvaparolochanad Nedavyam Parihritya Mandana Vachah Tadhi Anyatha Prastitam. On the lineage base, Mandana's position of Jiva as the final locus of avidya is rejected as Sampradaya Bahya, and Sarvajnatman explicitly situates Advaita within the living lineage endorsed by Sri Krishna, the Lord of ancient tradition, and continues through Shankara. That is highlighted as Sat Sampradaya, Sampradaya which is continuing through Sri Krishna. Sri Shankara also makes here the centrality of Sampradaya. Tasmad asampradaya vida sarvashastra vidavi murkhavadeva upekshaneya in Gita Bhashya 13:2. That is what is meant here, Sampradaya integrity or speculative variation. In this light, the Kerala tradition's resistance to Bhamadi line is not regional conservatism, but a continuous and conscious safeguarding of Advaita's Sampradaya integrity exactly as Shankara himself demands. Later, the system, systemized by Prakashatman, majority of Advaitins follow this line, which is undermined in contemporary academy. And Bhakti is retained as the hermeneutical core. See the list. 22 Acharyas. A large body of literature grew around the Padmapada Vivarana Sampradaya, including works by these stalwarts. From Vijnanatman, Uttamajnanayati, Anubhuti Surupacharya, Atma Surupa, up to Vasudevendra of the 18th century. Richer than any scholastic lineage. We have to note that this ascetic order is marked with Sri Krishna Bhakti. Madhusudana Saraswati, the great Advaita teacher of the 16th century, endorses the same thing, Bhakti, as the unifying axis of Gita. Karma, Mishra Bhakti, Shuddha Bhakti, and Jnana Mishra Bhakti. The first 6 chapters are dedicated for Karma Mishra Bhakti. The next central 6 chapters for Shuddha Bhakti, and the last 6 chapters of Gita for Jnana Mishra Bhakti. We can see in our Kerala traditional manuscripts, all the manuscript tradition and the Matham lineage, Takke Matham, Vadakke Matham lineage validate this Advaita practice, which is endorsed by the Gita Gudhartha Deepika. The Kerala Vivarana lineage also includes saint scholars who integrate Bhakti with Advaita. For example, Krishna Leela Shuka, a national figure in the Bhakti movement, Villumangala Swamiyar, represent the cultural peak of this synthesis, where Padmapada's Advaita is expressed through intense Krishna Bhakti without doctrinal compromise. And his commentators, including Durga Prasad Yadi, who is the work Padmapāda-Carita is ascribed to Durga Prasad, wrongly ascribed to Durga Prasad Yadi. Padmapāda-Carita, many critical issues are related with the text. I am not disclosing all. I have written 2-3 pages on that in my article. The authorship is uncertain, and it is of very late origin, as if on 17th century, and it is just dependent on other Shankara Vijayas. And there are many ethical and doctrinal inconsistencies. Even defaming, and it's just a blasphemy and defaming Padmapada. Look at the slokas quoted. Pratishtitasya lingasya pujartham nripasattama chandrigam atra nikshipya kshatra santana karanim. It's just a model of hagiography. Patminyasah gaccha yadha Shachya Valantaka Satwaram Gachandrapate Mahimanyam Prasadhaya, etc. etc. Sannivesha Griham Bhoya Sandatyartham Dijottama. The narrative running throughout 3 chapters, however, ends in a manner deeply inconsistent with the ascetic and monastic identity of Padmapada, depicting him as arranging Sambandha, or somewhat I think Niyoga, with Queen Chandrika for progeny. All that are described in the article. Kindly go through. Here, hagiographic history versus institutional history of Advaita, we have to focus on the second thing. Details are given. Hagiographic history just relies on the later narrative text, not the real Matha, Sabha, Shala documents. They are even unaware about these existing historical paramparas. In nowhere there is Sabha Matha, there is Shala, or any teaching Advaita lineage depicted in the hagiographies. Just to focus is on miracles and legends. We have to focus on the teachers, the real Acharyas, and the method of transmission of Advaita Vedanta initiated by Sri Shankaracharya. We have to keep aloof from these Padmapāda-Carita, etc., driven models, and to focus on Panchapadika Vivarana tradition, the real authority. We have to rely on authority by Sampradaya, not on mere devotion. Surely there is a need for institutional historiography. Our morning debate, I think, started on that way. Here, to give birth to Shankara and this great lineage, Kerala should have a socio-cultural and political space in Kerala. There, SWHAS, Mathas and Shalas are the core of Vedic education. We can use all these sources from history, manuscriptology, and archaeology. Without manuscriptology and all this, using these manuscripts, just not rely on inscriptions only. Education in early Kerala was broadly divided into Vaidika and Laukika. All higher learning, especially Vedic, Mīmāṃsā and Vedānta, was firmly under Brahminic supervision. This learning ecosystem was sustained by a network of institutions, each with clearly defined function. Karmi Sabha Mathas, supporting the Shrauta and Smarta ritual practices. Vaidika Sabha Mathas or Ghatikas for Vedic deliberation, higher debate and governance. Shastra Sabha Mathas, institutions for advanced training in specific Shastras. 18 such Mathas were there. Shastra Sabha Mathas. And of course, Brahmasam Mathas, institutions for systematic Vedic instruction. Swamiyar Mathas, monastic centers for Vedanta teaching and Sannyasa discipline. Now, this Swamiyar Matha system is centered in Trichur, but in history and from the inscriptions, we can gather the center was Thiruvananthapuram. The first center, historical center, was Thiruvananthapuram. And the sixth one, Shalas, residential academies for intensive higher learning. There was a strong institutional matrix in Kerala. Sabha Mathas was the basis, then Shalas controlled by Swamiyar Mathas. Munchira, Kandalur and Tirupparappu were the centers, as we can gather from the manuscript traditions, even from the pre-Shankara period. The strong Vedic infrastructure prevailed in Kerala. We should focus now here on Prabhakara-Shankara unity or synthesis, which is the hallmark of the Vivarana tradition. I think this is a new proposal. We have to study the Prabhakara-Shankara unity, because Prabhakara is also a Keralite Mīmāṃsā Guru, Prabhakara Guru, where in the Vivarana lineage, apart from the Bhata Abhidhanvaya, Anvita Abhidhana is preserved as the Guru Mata, the traditional system of Vedic learning. And Karma is preparatory and Jnana is liberative. Padmapāda-Acharya is deeply rooted in the Purva Mīmāṃsā, especially in the Keralite Prabhakara tradition. Now also, I am proposing a new approach to have a glimpse at the Kerala's Vedic institutional ecology and the Matha network behind the real Shankara Padmapāda lineage. We have to improvise many perspectives, which I think the manuscript topography or topology would work more. Just have a glance at that. The fourth one, Manalikara. Fifth, Parthivapuram. Inscriptions regarding the lineage of Shankaracharya with the Matha, Shala infrastructure. Munchira Swamiyar Matham, Tirupparpa or Tripparappa Swamiyar Matham. All in the Kerala Tamil Nadu border. We can see most of the valuable manuscripts related to Vedānta and Mīmāṃsā came from these mathas. I have gathered this topography, Talarekha, from the Sanskrit manuscript collections, the first phase, 1910, initiated by Travancore. At that time, it covered 21 centers. But the Sabhamadam manuscripts shows a continuous lineage. This pattern strategy suggests that southern Kerala functioned as a sustained nucleus of Vedanta transmission. Not central Kerala, but southern Kerala. Not as a peripheral recipient of northern ideas. Thus, these centers, Parthivapuram, Munchira, Tripparappa, Swamiyar Mathams also were there. Separate Swamiyar Matham. Now, I think the Munchira is related to the Trikaikata. These centers demand systematic re-examination and further research. This is the manuscript topography from Kanyakumari to Munchira, Parthivapuram. We have to focus on the Samiyar Mathas and the Munchira tradition to gather more ancient relevant materials related to Śaṅkara lineage. Among these institutions, Swamiyar Mathas in the Śaṅkara lineage played a decisive role in shaping Vedantic learning. But current tradition often treats the Munchira Swamiyar Matha as a later branch of the Idayil Matha, now associated with the Trikaikat Matha. However, the Parthivapuram inscriptions from 9th century onwards, unrelated records indicate that the Munchira Matha was already active before 9th century. In my paper, I have given the list of more than 30 Acharyas related to the true Kerala lineage. Now here just counted 11. From Padmapāda-Carita, Sarvajñātman, Vedānta, Vedānanta Yadi, Anandajnana, Krishna Leela Suga, Durga Prasada Yadi, Raghavananda, Krishnanubhuti Yadi, Govindamrita Yadi, Ishanubhuti Yadi, all are related to the Matham, Swamiyar Matham lineage. But there is no record presented by the Mathams. And also, this distribution is not accidental. It indicates stable, century-long centers of teaching, not temporary scholarly activity, initiated by some Swamiyas or some kings. The manuscripts consistently invoke deities such as Nrsimha or Narasimha, Parthasarathi and Krishna, matching the Vivarana Bhakti synthesis articulated by Sarvajñātman and Madhusudana Saraswati. When epigraphic data on Ganapati Shastri's manuscript topology are read together, Kerala emerges as a materially verifiable transmission zone for the Padmapada Vivarana lineage, supported by institutions teachers and texts. This is not just hagiography. Thus, we can conclude inscriptions show just institutions. Manuscripts show what they actually taught. Here the Kerala Advaita infrastructure, as we can deduce from the epigraphic and manuscript topology. Focus on the three. Time is not permitting. Munchira epigraphic records. Earlier than 8th century, Munchira establishes the Sabhamada as supervisory center over Shalas and the nucleus for later Vivarana transmission. Now the question, did Shankara found monastic institutions afresh, or did he universalize an existing Kerala Sabhamada model? There is direct or indirect evidence showing or suggesting that Sri Shankaracharya's organizational vision engaged with earlier Sabhamada traditions already operative in Kerala. He adapted them within a broader Advaitic framework. Thus, we have to focus on Kerala as intellectual heartland of Advaita and Vivarana as a lineage faithful stream which assimilated the Gurumata, the real lineage starting from Sri Krishna. Here is the call for manuscript and institution-based historiography. We have to move beyond the hagiographical information now we have. Thank you.